the reason of, or the syntax means str5, we're going to copy str5, okay? But we are going to omit the 5, okay? 5 characters before we copy it. So again, the value of str5 is good, space, morning. Then we use str5, comma 5. str5 means I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then delete that, and then copy morning to str6. So that's the semantics of the constructor str6 parenthesis str5, comma 5. Let's have the continuation of the constructor. So another constructor is a string object name, and then there are 3 parameters within the parentheses. So how about this one? So let's just copy string, this case str7 parentheses. Let's have str5, comma, and then we have 5, comma 2. Okay? And then I'm going to display str7 equals str7. So in this case, what will happen? str5 is what variable that we are going to copy, which contains the value of good morning. Okay, str5 contains good morning. Then again, you know already what's the meaning of the second parameter. I'm going to omit 5 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from str5. Okay, and then the last one is we are going to copy only 2 characters. So if we're going to copy only 2 characters, 1, 2, so what's the output of str7? The output of str7 is just mo or mo. Okay? Next, another semantic, this one. String object name, then we have 2 parameters, n and the character. So let's say, for example, I have string str8, then parenthesis, I'm going to make use of a character, a 5 here, and then I have a sharp sign. Okay, so what will happen to the output of string 8? str8 equals str8. So what will happen here is, the semantic of this is, I'm going to copy sharp sign and assign it to string or str8 object. How many sharp sign will display on str8 or assigned in str8? There are 5. Okay, so 5 sharp sign assigned to str8. Same thing as str8 equals double quotation mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double quotation mark. So let's run the code. Hi. String str8. Wait. Sorry. This is single quotation mark. Single quotation mark. Sorry. Let's run again the code. Okay, so it assigns 5 sharp sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is not double quotation mark. This is a single quotation mark since it's just a character. So this is the same as str8 equals 5 sharp signs within the double quotation mark. Okay, and then finally, of course, an object name without a value. So string and then str9 semicolon. Okay, so in this case, if I'm going to display str9 equals str9, so the value is just blank or null. So let's run the code. str9 doesn't have any value yet because we only declare the object in the class. Okay, so that's the constructor. We call this all as construct. So take note that the same thing as the character string in string class, the character position within a string are numbered starting with position 0. So same thing as character string, we always assign it as array of characters. We usually start the character in position 0. Okay. Now, for the input and the output is still the same as cout. Cin, we're not going to make use of cin. but we're going to combine cin and getLine or getLine as well. Okay? So strings can be input from the keyboard and displayed on the screen using cout, cin, and getLine. GetLine continuously accepts and stores character from the keyboard until the terminating key is pressed or the enter key. So if the last argument is omitted, the enter key will terminate the input. Okay, so that means this portion is optional. We only want to make use of this particular syntax. Again, automatically, if the last argument, when you press the enter key, the last argument is the enter key. Okay, so how are we going to do that? So let's say, for example, I do not want anymore the constructor, and I'm going to declare another value again, string str1. Okay, and I'm going to ask the user to input the value for string of str1. Cout, enter a string again. So I'm not going to make use of cin again because cin is just asking the user to input a single value. But since this one is accepting the space, we're going to make use of the get line, parentheses, and then cin, comma, and then the variable str1. Even without the terminating object, once we press the enter key, it means that's already terminating the value. So if I'm going to display already the value of str1, str1 should be what we inputted, including the spaces and any characters within the string. So str1 and L. So if I'm going to run the code, and I'm going to type Lauren Season Fuentes. So all values will be displayed on screen, Lauren Season Fuentes. So let's have equal sign here. Let's run again the code. Lauren Season Fuentes. So str1 is equals to Lauren Season Fuentes. So that's what we call getLine. Cin again. This syntax is only applicable to string class. You cannot actually use this in character string. Now, what if, for example, we ask the user to input the age and her or his name? Okay, the other one is integer data type and the other one is a string data type. So take note of this. Using cin and getLine inputs together in the same program may cause problem, but that is not a major problem. So let's see what happens. So for example, I have here int and then I have age. Okay, and then I have, let's say for example, let's enter first the string, or let's enter first the age. So cout, okay, enter your age. So let's see if there is any problem. Cin, of course, we're going to make use of cin because it's just this a simple variable, which is integer data type. So we use the cin. Okay, cin and then age. Okay. So here, I'm not going to make use of str1, but instead name equals, and then here, age is age. Okay, so let's run the code. So enter your age. So for example, I am 43. Ayun. What happened is, there's no asking, or the compiler did not prompt the user to input the name already. So that's the problem if you're going to combine cin and getLine. Cin for a simple data type and an input or getLine for a string class value. So what happened is the output is it will not already ask the user and prompt the user for the next value. Instead, it will already display the final output. But the final output is incorrect because we did not put any name on this particular line. Okay, so what are we going to do is, number one, you can actually change the position. Okay, so let's run if we change the position if it's already working. Okay, so enter string, Lauren Fuentes, age 43. So that's fine. But what if I do not want to change the position? I want to make it cin first before getLine. Earlier, we started it with the getLine and then cin. Okay, so that's fine. But what if the position is cin first before the getLine? So we need to only include another syntax here. And that is what we call the cin.ignore. Okay, cin.ignore. Okay, we follow it, the cin input with the cin.ignore to accept the enter key into a character variable and then ignore it. Okay, so here, between the cin and the get line, I'm going to make use of cin.ignore. Parenthesis, semicolon. So let's see what will happen after we use the cin.ignore. So I'm going to make use of my input, my age. Once we press the enter key, it will not have already a waterfall effect. That means it will already ask the user to prompt the name. Earlier, after pressing the enter key without the cin.ignore, it already displayed the output on screen and without asking the user for the name. But in this case, once I press the enter key, since we have cin.ignore, it will ask the user to enter a string or enter the name. So again, that's